Ahead of the Tamil Nadu elections, we caught up with R Kannan, a political commentator, an academic, and a writer who's written extensively on Tamil Nadu politics, including biographies of C.N. Annadurai and MGR.
Before the campaign began, it appeared that the DMK had a very strong footing. But after the campaign has gained momentum, and then with the crowds that surge in Actor Vijay's campaign, I think we'll have to rethink all. So if he had emulated the Pawan Kalyan model and would have waited for until the next elections, it would have been a win-win situation for both Edappadi Palanichami and Vijay.
What, in your opinion, prevented that from happening?
Egos. There's a charm about him that I can't put my finger on. A one-man army with Vijay and his battalion of younger supporters.
In Tamil Nadu, allying with BJP could also mean you're losing a part of your vote bank. And look at what Dravidian politics means. I think it's become just a buzzword these days. We tend to think that every election is special and it's a landmark election in that sense. Is that true of this election too? Is there something special that this election will determine?
I think it is a special election in the sense like we have a very popular political entrant in this election, Actor Vijay, and it is Tamizhaga Vetri Kazhagam. And he's drawing mammoth crowds. So I think the question is, in all our minds is, how big a force is he? Does he represent a third alternative, which Tamil Nadu had explored in the past and in which had not ended well? There were moments when it showed promise, but for different reasons it didn't get any further, right?
Right.
So he is a novice in public life. Secondly, he doesn't have the track record that some of his earlier, more illustrious entrants had. Let's say Jayalalitha, and before her mentor M.G. Ramachandran. They've had MGR had a long years of experience in public life. He was a public figure. He was half a politician already and half an actor. And he derived strength from one to the other, and he's traveled with the ease from both ends. Vijay, on the other hand, has been active in public for about, I would think, more than a decade, where his fans associations have given away welfare schemes and have tried to encourage students of the underprivileged background to go to schools or to excel or to do better, etc. All that is there. So, but to plunge oneself into what I would consider hardcore public life, which is a political career, this is very new for him. And unlike M.G. Ramachandran, he hadn't tested the electoral waters so far. So there are any number of questions that this election would answer for you and me, and for and for all those who are anxious to know what is going to transpire. Is he going to hurt the opposition AIADMK-led alliance, or if he were to do extremely well, will he even, disadvantage the ruling DMK from returning to power? All this remains to be seen. And he himself, to respond to your question, is this a special election? In his mind, it is. He has said it is one of those which might resemble the 1967 avalanche or the 1977 entry of MGR.
But another thing that stands out this time around is the return of the personality politics, because I think after the demise of both Ms. Jayalalitha and Mr. Karunanidhi, there was a more ideological return of an ideological politics in a sense, because there weren't such huge characters. Does Vijay bring that back into the fold, you think?
I don't think the demise of the titans, Kalaignar Karunanidhi or Jayalalitha, you know, reintroduced an ideological battle. If you're referring to the narrative that the DMK has set, that this is a battle between Delhi
Yes.
and Chennai,
Yeah.
and this is a battle between a uniform, the idea of uniformity
Correct.
of Hindutva versus the idea of plurality, multilingualism, and not uniformity but unity and diversity, etc. Yes, it's in broad strokes. It's a bit of an ideological battle, but ideology in public space or in political space is essentially framed in, I think, Marxist terms, and the way you would, the way you would go about the economy. So, is it going to be private enterprise? Is it going to be a mixed economy? Is it going to be public enterprise? Labor, welfare, and then things like that. I think we've passed all that. Once we opened up the economy, those debates are moot. Now it's a question of welfare politics. It's a question of jobs. It's a question of the brass tacks. It's a simple, the environment, good water, protected water, and then things like that. So I wouldn't say that the issue has, after the demise of these larger than life figures, has now become ideological. I wouldn't think so, or doctrinaire. Instead, I thought it was moving towards a Kerala style politics where your good work in the field, service delivery, good governance, those become the day-to-day issues. In addition to, of course, caste is a very significant element in Tamil Nadu's politics. And I think at least a fifth of the votes are purchased. So let's also be very conscious to that. So these are very integral. But in addition to all that, I think your reputation, like there are some very good candidates who have been very grounded, have had their ears to the ground, are very receptive to the constituents' needs and requirements, and then try to cater to the best of their ability. And I think people appreciate that to a large extent. Not that all those people get re-elected, but I think there is some resonance to that sort of good work, that sort of a commitment, that sort of because why would you want to jump into public service if you don't want to serve? So essentially, everybody comes to this space to serve.
Yeah.
That you become popular, that you become powerful, that you wield authority, that you are able to, people listen to you, is all a bonus or an afterthought of it. Otherwise, there's a lot of glamour in it. Yes, that's different, but not everybody succeeds, and it's very rough. So going back to your question, if this is, I thought it was heading towards the Kerala model, where these things, day-to-day bread and butter issues, water, drinking water, electricity, things like that, would come to the fore. After the entry of Vijay, that I have my own. I mean, this has to be rethought. Maybe we are going back to the larger than life. Tamil Nadu is very special compared to the other states. This is an extremely special state in as much as we've had titans in a row as leaders, from Rajaji to Kamarajar to Anna to Kalaignar Karunanidhi to NGR and Jayalalitha in a row for about 50, 60 years. Where else would you get such a crop of leaders?
Another comparison perhaps with the Kerala style of politics is the importance of allies. Would you consider that now more so ever? Of course, DMK first came to power by stitching a rainbow coalition together. Do you think once again DMK has understood the importance of having the right kind of allies, and would that give them a slight edge over others perhaps?
No, alliance arithmetic has been bandied about as the solution to winning elections. Not all the time. It works in most cases. It worked in 1967 because to take on the mighty monolithic Congress, C.N. Annadurai forged an 8-party rainbow alliance from the left to the right, and then they managed to defeat the monolithic Congress. After that, we have seen that alliance arithmetic, didn't work in 1971 because it was essentially a test of a competition between the two major parties that had come to stay. One was the ruling DMK, the other was the Organizational Congress, which was the more important part of the divided Congress here. The Indira Gandhi-led Congress had really no presence here very much, and they were in alliance with the ruling DMK. And Rajaji and Kamarajar, these two formidable leaders and originally political force, for the first time came together, and it was called the Grand Alliance.
Right.
And yet they couldn't defeat the DMK. So alliances work sometimes. They don't always work. Let me give you another example. 1980, the DMK stitched an alliance with the Congress I. It was a very, very strong alliance. MGR single-handedly brought it down. So alliance arithmetic doesn't work all the time, but it works sometimes. In 2006, the alliance arithmetic was in favor of the DMK. It worked. In 2001, the alliance was in favor of the AIADMK. So Jayalalitha returned to power. In 2011, her alliance with Vijay brought her back to power from the cold. So alliances don't work all the time. That's what I'm saying. This time, before the campaign began, it appeared that the DMK was had a very strong footing, and I even thought they will just breeze through.
Yeah.
But after the campaign has gained momentum, and then with the crowds that surge in Actor Vijay's campaign, I think we'll have to rethink all this. So it may not be that smooth sailing for the ruling DMK, and then as we near the date of the ballot, the date of the voting, things could get even more complicated, and we don't know what might happen. So
many believe that if Vijay had anybody as an ally, it could be DMK, it could even be ADMK or Congress.
The polls.
Yeah, is that something you share?
I completely share that because he's got because it's a fusion of the young and the established. So if he had tied up with the AIADMK has I would think about anyway from 15 to 20% a solid vote bank. Traditionally, for generations, for 2-3 generations, people have voted for the twin leaves. So that symbol is very well known. So if he had emulated the Pawan Kalyan model and would have waited for until the next elections, it would have been a win-win situation for both Edappadi Palamichani and Vijay.
What, in your opinion, prevented that from happening?
Egos.
Vijay's and Edappadi's egos. That's the only reason why it didn't happen. Right. But what do you make of Vijay's positioning? He's taking on the two Dravidian parties and he says, I will be an alternative model. But is his politics also rooted in Dravidian politics, or what does he represent apart from change in hope?
He represents a mixture of all the good that he can take from anywhere. So he bandies out E.V. Ramasamy Periyar. Then he talks about Anjalai Ammal, who's not part of the popular narrative or discourse so far. So he tries to cover his bases. He tries to reach out to communities that have not been touched so far. But I think his essential strength is there's a charm about him that I can't put my finger on. I don't know what the charm is. I mean, we need to go and talk to his fans, and they are in awe of him.
Yeah.
So it's an awe and shock campaign. And there are, of the 5 crore and then 67 lakh voters, even if we assume that 4 crore would show up to vote, we have at least 1 out of 5 voters from this younger lot. Those below 30. So there are, technically they are about 1 crore and 18 lakhs. If 2/3 or 3/4 show up to vote, and then they are likely to because they are showing up to see him, in fact, even risking their own lives. So it's precarious there. So I'm sure they will turn out. So half of those, if 2/3 were to turn out, and then if 2/3 of those 2/3 were to vote for him, we're talking already about 40 to 50 lakh votes. And any party, this is mostly a trilateral contest, although you might contest that saying that this is a a four-cornered contest
yeah.
with Seeman there, and we'll go to Seeman in a bit. But these are three major popular, staring in your face forces. There's a large 20 plus parties alliance led by the DMK. There's a reasonably strong alliance led by the AIADMK. And then there is a one-man army with Vijay and his battalion of younger supporters. So Nam Tamilar is a distant fourth in my reckoning, and then he might lose some of his base to Vijay at this time. I'm hazarding a guess.
Of course. Last question before we move on from Vijay. He has not been giving interviews. It doesn't look like he'll talk to the media. Apart from his speeches, we have no other way of understanding.
He's going to do it in 2 days' time.
Well, we'll see when that happens. But, we have only his speeches to understand his ideology. What are you picking up about? Does he understand ideology? Is it relevant to him? Or, like you said, that one-man army, that shock or the charm of Vijay is enough to compensate for everything else?
This is India. This is not 1917, the Tsarist Russia, where we had to engineer the October Revolution and bring the Bolsheviks to power. This is not that. We are not living in that age and time, and that is past us. If you have reasonably good common sense, and if you have the ability or the willingness to serve, or the inclination to serve, if you can empathize with people, and if you are willing to brace the rough and tumble of public life, because privacy, that's the first casualty.
Yeah.
People talk about you, they misunderstand you, they constantly carpet you, criticize you.
They question you.
They question you, absolutely. So if you're willing to do all that, that's enough, I think. You don't have to be a doctrinaire this or a doctrinaire that. You don't have to be an economist. Then because I'll tell you why. Because we have a robust civil service, which where you get technical help, and there is a system in place. We are a reasonably well-run country. So I think all that you need is, let me give you an example. A senior IAS official told me that he had heard this from another official who had retired, who was in this meeting when they were discussing the nutritious noon meal scheme in 1982, when MGR introduced it. So after the presentation, the chief minister, who's a third grade dropout from school, asked them, so won't the children be hungry on the weekends? Because the original scheme was devised for only 5 days a week. So why should you go to universities and colleges to grandstand any of this? You just need to be a good human, I think.
Right. Moving on to the ADMK BJP alliance, many think that BJP does bring some things to the table, but it is a double-edged sword, because in Tamil Nadu, allying with BJP could also mean you're losing a part of your vote bank. So what do you make out of that alliance? Who's holding whom back? What are they bringing to the table?
No, it's an alliance of convenience, because despite the fact that there would be a major erosion in minority support, in fact, you'll completely lose the Muslims and most of the Christians. But the Christians, I think most of them would gravitate towards Actor Vijay this time. Anyway, going back, after the 2024 parliamentary elections, it dawned on both these parties that they need each other, because they can bring the resources, because they could have put up a tough fight in about 12 to 15 constituencies if the alliance had continued and if they had fought together the 2024 parliamentary poll. I think that realization brought them back. And yes, it is a double-edged sword. In fact, I consider it an albatross around the AIADMK's neck. Yet, they happen to be the ruling party at the center, so they could be very resourceful. I leave it to you to interpret what resourcefulness is. And so, and then it's become the two major Dravidian parties can't win on their own. They need allies. So what else is there when all the leftist and all the left of center forces have joined the DMK? What else is left? So
I think it's a good time for us to also look at what Dravidian politics means. I think it's become just a buzzword these days, right? Everybody's using it.
correct.
So what does it mean in today's time?
Welfare politics.
Right. So that is the basis of
Absolutely. Social justice and all that. We have milked that quite a bit. I think that revolution is mostly done.
But
that
would welfare
revolution is not
politics
complete.
fall into that ambit too? Social justice. I mean, that's one of the ways of achieving social justice.
I'm saying it. I'm being a bit cynical. I'm just saying that Dravidian politics has come to simply, more than uplifting the masses and bringing them to the fore. Beyond all that, it has come to, in the last at least two decades, it's come to simply welfare politics and welfarism.
Right. Tamil Nadu is also another state where federalism is an election conversation. I've seen in rural parts of the state candidates, MLA candidates, MP candidates talking about different aspects of federalism, which I've not seen in any other state. Why do you think that is? And do you think that will continue in this election too?
Because this was the first state outside Kashmir, and this was the first state before even Pakistan. The idea of Pakistan was mooted, which sought separation from the Indian Union as early as 1939.
Right.
The Pakistan Declaration happened in 1940.
Right.
So a year before, the Dravidar, the Justice Party, the Dravidar Kazhagam, in the first anti-Indi agitation, E.V. Ramasamy Periyar, the patriarch of the Dravidian movement, mooted the idea of a separate Dravida Nadu and a separate Tamil Nadu, which he used synonymously, interchangeably. So this is a place, because the second best alternative to separation is federalism. And then in Kalaignar Karunanidhi, we saw a fierce advocate for federalism and what he termed as state autonomy. And then the first committee on center-state relations or devolution of powers to states or empowering states was formed under his leadership, Justice Rajamannar Committee. And that committee still, its recommendations are very far-reaching. It would have turned India upside down when it came to to constitutional devolution of powers. India would have turned into another Canada, Australia, or the United States. That was not meant to be, because we have a very difficult partition behind us.
Yeah.
So the framers of the Constitution were more concerned about keeping this country united and as a single territorial unit. So we have weighed in on a sort of a heavily loaded center. So mostly that's where we are. And therefore this keeps recurring. And then you have a very centralizing BJP in power for the last 11 plus years. So, and you have the DMK, which had sought separation until 1962, in power here. So this debate about federalism powers, and then you have the last 5 years, the leader of the opposition was not Edappadi Palanichami, it was Governor Ravi. So therefore, these questions come to the fore all the time. These things happen in Kerala to some extent. They happen in West Bengal to some extent. But here it seems to be happening all the time, because this is a very, this state has a fierce oral tradition, a fierce discoursing habit, the argumentative Tamil.
Right.
So that's where we are.
I completely agree with you that India started off as perhaps a quasi-federal state, and now over time, perhaps Indira Gandhi and the last 11 years of Modi, we've tilted more, it's more skewed towards the center. But today in Tamil Nadu, in practical terms, what are the issues as far as federalism is concerned, like NEET or whatever else? What is it that the voter identifies with?
NEET is, I think, done and dusted. I think we are a solitary reaper. So we are the only state agitating against NEET. Do you see it in West Bengal?
Not any.
Do you see it in any opposition-ruled states? No. Even in Congress-ruled opposition states. So this is this issue is, I think, finished. It's empty rhetoric. It's like Kachativu. So, federalism here simply means the appointment of vice chancellors. It simply has come to the governor, giving his assent in a reasonable period of time, and so on. Those sort of things. And in other words, the governor being supportive of the government, not a rebel, not somebody who comes in and doesn't want to read the government's address that is prepared by it. Imagine if the president were to say, "I won't read the union government prepared address for me when I declare open the parliament." So those have become, it's most, to some extent it is symbolic, to some extent it is substantive.
What's perhaps less symbolic is linguistic federalism and fiscal federalism, because there are election speeches where they're saying that money that is owed to our state is going to other states like Uttar Pradesh or Gujarat and the likes. And of course, the language of Hindi imposition. Are these still sentimental things people might be thinking of when they go out and vote?
When it comes to, I think these questions have been raised long before and have been answered satisfactorily. Even within Tamil Nadu, there are districts which are very prosperous and there are districts that are not that prosperous. For want of a better word, we call them backward districts. Okay, so they are economically backward. So if we assume that Coimbatore is one of those more prosperous districts, so the money and the revenue from there is then redistributed goes to serve all the Tamils and or the people of Tamil Nadu and in the rest of the state. Now, I just want you to superimpose that to the idea of India. So, California bails out Delaware or Alabama. Similarly, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Maharashtra bail out the lesser privileged states, or for different reasons who have not moved as quickly as you and I have managed to. So, I think that is my point on that. On the issue of political power, the issue of delimitation is a serious democracy's sword that hangs on the heads of Kerala, us, all
the southern states, perhaps.
Correct. So, that about a week or so, the Prime Minister has said that our interests will not be harmed. How are they going to figure this out is anybody's guess. But there are different ways to skin the cat. So look at the American model. You have an upper house where a teeny state like Rhode Island is, equal to a major state like Texas or California. So the same thing can be done here. And there should be constitutional experts who can figure this out. So that's a serious issue. Already our voice in Parliament seems to be, on the decline.
On the issue of Hindi imposition, linguistic federalism, is that still
relevant? I think Hindi
relevant?
imposition or I think we are the last bastion that fights this. I would put it, we are fighting for the retention of English as one of the, as a part of India's ethos and culture, and a vehicle for India's advancement. We are the fiercest proponents of this thesis for a long time. And then because with English, we think everybody can win. All Indians can win. And the playing field is leveled for both somebody from Lucknow and somebody from Chennai.
Yeah.
But then we are not the majority. And even amongst the non-Hindi speakers, we seem to be we are plowing a lonely furrow. The Bengalis, I don't know what they think. The Keralites and the Telugus and the Kannadigas don't seem to have this kind of a problem that we have to this. But we are losing the battle because people are moving left, right, and center in India. After the opening of the economy, and since states cannot control their borders, there's an influx of migrant workers into Tamil Nadu. Tamil Nadu boasts the second largest component of migrant workers. In the 50s and 60s, we were migrating to other places for work. So this is a happy turn of events. And that seems to bring a bit of a cultural exchange. So the spread of Hindi has been made possible much easily and smoothly, and in fact even more pleasantly through Bollywood than any of these ham-handed government programs. Having said that, you go to the citadel of Tamil culture to Madurai, the industrial security force personnel who let you in speak to you in Hindi, and there's nothing that you can do about it.
So they're far more efficient than your Hindi Prachar Sabhas of decades ago. I want to end with looking at history as a topic of elections. Again, I think in a way Tamil Nadu is unique in holding on to its past politically. Not to say that it's not looking forward. How do you think all the political parties, and I'm not singling out any one of them, BJP does it, DMK does it, how is it being weaponized, for a lack of better word, history being weaponized in politics in Tamil Nadu today?
The DMK has weaponized it, not the other parties. The DMK has weaponized the Tamil culture it's weaponized it for its political ends. In the last 150 years or more, Christian missionaries who had showed up here told us about things that we hadn't known before. The Tamils were completely unaware, and the discovery of the Indus Valley civilization, and then the rediscovery of the Tamil Sangam literature brought in a sense of Tamil Renaissance, so which had been lost, because I'm very eager to repeat this to anyone who wishes to hear. From 1311 to 1926, for close to 600 years, the Tamil lands were not ruled by Tamils. So after the 600-year hiatus, the Christian missionary work became the basis on which Tamil cultural nationalism was based, was mounted. And that was weaponized by very eloquent, very consummate handlers of the Tamil language, the DMK people. So I think if Tamil cultural nationalism has been weaponized, it's been weaponized by only one party, and that is the DMK.
The BJP, I don't know if weaponize is the right word, but also tries to make inroads using Tamil language and culture, right? The Prime Minister tries to quote Tirukkural wherever he can, the Sengol symbolic gesture, and also, you know, this whole thing of dressing up Tiruvalluvar either in saffron or white, things like these, perhaps more symbolic, but is that one way you can make entry?
The easiest way to get into a Tamil's heart is, firstly, you speak in a language that we can understand. In the last 10-15 years, people from the Hindi heartland come here and speak in Hindi. What do we understand? So that is not the way. In the announcements and flights that land in Chennai and take off from Chennai, there's not a single announcement in Tamil. So what are you talking about? What is the idea of you holding a Tamil cultural sammelan in Varanasi? How does that benefit the Tamils? So I don't think you have your heart here. So.
Okay. Thank you so much for your time. We covered a whole bunch of things, but I'm sure there'll be more that we can talk to you about in the coming days. Thank you, sir.
Pleasure.